line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Next week, we'll be heading down to Iowa Speedway for the ARCA Series season finale here of Pushing Limits Racing League Season 3. But tonight, at South Boston Speedway here in South Boston, Virginia, we're about to witness maybe what I consider your old local style of racing. These are literally, it's designed up really as Formula One style cars, or four-wheel drive cars. What is it? Formula One? I'm losing already, guys. Hi, everyone. I am Christian the Crusaders driver. Welcome back to the show. No, these are not Formula One cars like I just mistakenly said. These are the VW TDI Cup Series, VW Jetta TDI Cup cars, and they are now live here on PTM Racing TV for the very first time ever on this showcase. And it's time to get down to business. We've got 2 heats lined up for you. We'll start them up on the pole. Robert Garrell, Snake Connolly, the 21 is outside. Stanley Pottle, the 48. Then the final starter will be the 84, Matthew Hoffer, and then Jeffrey Tautus, and the 72. Now, you're probably wondering at home, why am I even bringing up kind of front-wheel drive style cars? Well, first off, just listen. They definitely sound like a front-wheel drive style car. Second off, they really design and kind of handle like that. But their front ends are more basically attributed to the steering ratio and the control. So you don't have any speed coming on the outside with those rear ends. So the front wheels are pretty much the only thing that's driving you through the corners. And as long as you keep them straight as can be and hammer them down as well as you would with a rear wheel or a all-wheel drive, that'll certainly give you a lot of speed and boost and momentum. We've seen it here quite a few times, and this one should be a little bit crazy here. Yes, Mounty Moniac, front wheel drive, no view. I don't know why I said Formula One style. I said they were front wheel drive. I just had to make a little fun of myself for that one. But anyway, we're getting ready to get down to business here. Heat number 1 coming at your way now. The Rattlesnake Robert Kahn will start him on the inside. Then Jeffrey Tautus going to move up in a second. Green flag flies high. Let's go around. Let's get him going. The good news is, because they're front-wheel drive, that means they're a lot more fun to bump and bang with, because it means you can actually get a little bit of run or two off with them. Yeah, it's going to be some good stuff here. I've seen these things on dirt. I've never seen them on asphalt, so I am extremely curious to see how this one goes. Offered off the start here, then followed back behind with Jeffrey Tautus taking the early bottom lane here. Robert Kahn going straight to the outside wall. I don't think you're supposed to drive up there with these things, man. Matt Moniac can't see the race. Try refreshing your page there, bud. Everything's working on my end. Oh! So it's happening from the 84 Hopper. Hopper got a little bit of a love scrape there from the 72. It's odds up. I don't know if Ty was trying to guard him in and get him out of there or what he was doing, but unfortunately, Did not quite plan out the way I was hoping for. The onboard camera here of Todd Tufts. Oh, I can hear those tires just screeching on the track there. Hold on for dear life here. Look out for Hofford. Here he comes down on the bottom lane, looking to try to take down Kahn here. Now, just because they're a little slower doesn't mean those tires don't burn up a little bit and give you a little bit of a handful to work with. The Volkswagen Jetta TDI Cup cars. Not Cup cars related to NASCAR Cup cars. These are European style based. Down in the inside zone, trying to muscle that Volkswagen up ahead here. Look at Kahn trying to block on the outside. Hoffer trying to get him on the inside corner, trying to get a run off him, but can't quite build the speed up just yet. The only car out here that's got a little bit of color to his scheme. Stanley Puddle, unfortunately, you saw was supposed to start on the first row, did not make the procedural spot. Could not get the car fired up. Unfortunately, mechanical failures down there, looming him in a DNFDQ for the heat anyway. As we watch on from above and the top, looks like you get two lines in here. You can get the top side and the bottom line to work, which is honestly very shocking because South Boston, it's usually the opposite. Only the bottom line works here, and it's pretty much not a bump and run style track. But the good news is for these guys, these cars really don't need that. They can work the top and they can work the bottom lane, which is incredible. And the thing is also, they cannot do any brake adjustments or any brake bias setup, so they have to work off of their steering ratio and their offset there. So they're pretty much designed like an IROC car, if you will, or even the SRX cars, if you will, with a little bit less things to tinker around with, which makes for pretty good racing, I'd say, so far as we wait a minute on the white flag. Heat 1 about to be wrapped up. Another set of drivers, 3 more coming up here. 7 made the call here tonight. And Hoffert looking to try to knock down Kahn here on the last couple of laps. They'll fight him off down on the inside. Hoffert needs this position to get the top spot in the main event. They'll come off a corner number 4, side by side to a drag race. And Kahn, just by about a half a tire length, will take down Hoffert in the 84. What a race. Impressive. And pretty crazy to say the least. I would not have thought that would have been as good as it was. But hey, give credit where credit's due. It's pretty good driving by these boys. Here's the results now on your pop-up on your screen, presented by Pushing Limits Racing League. Robert Kahn wins this, second to Matthew Hoffert, third Jeffrey Todd Tufts, Stanley Puddle, unfortunately, not able to make the call. But in this call right here, we'll have Chantel Throttle Puddle in the number 5 to her outside. Ron Mans will pilot the 7. Final starter, the 69, Nick Kern. And Ron, I don't know if you're taking off the Man Beast, William Mann Jr., but I think you might want to put a paint scheme on that car. At least put on your number there, sir. He's got an all white out VW Jetta there. Well, let's give credit where credit's due to Kern. At least he put something on that car. At least he's got the Oakley and the Trading Paints machine on that one. Not bad looking, to say the least. So I guess it's gonna be black versus white, I guess you could say, in this one. I don't really know what else to say. The drivers did tell me right before getting on the track, they said, we didn't even really have time to make a paint scheme, much less even figure out how to get a paint scheme on these cars, so we just kind of went with it. I told them, well, that's the case, and you can pretty much just bump and bang with them all you want. You don't really need to put them back anywhere for a while. Well, we saw a little bit of that bumping and banging earlier. We'll see if we get a little bit more of that here in this feature as you wave it off to the front straightaway to the green flag flies high in the air. Firing them off into the distance here, off of corner number 1. And it is the 5, Chantel Bottle, defending the bottom line immediately from Nick Kern. The 69 trying to making her feel the burn of Nick Kern, trying to get him off on the inside corners. Can't quite get the run though. And we talked about it earlier on these front wheel drive style base cars. Again, the 5 actually, she's got experience driving these things. Way back when in her racing days, before she ever got on iRacing, she actually did drive front-wheel drive race cars and actually had to run them on the dirt. So asphalt-wise, shouldn't be too much of a stretch. She should be able to actually get a little bit more grip and a little more of an idea on how to feed out some of these top-tier boys. And right now, Nick Kern is being tested full in arms here. Might have watched a little bit of what Robert Kahn was doing earlier on the outside line, because she is moving up and keeping everything in place, but it is the 69 still trying to make a maneuver around her. Great side-by-side action. Both drivers not giving in as Ron Mans looks on from behind. On board here with Ron Mans here as he pilots the all-white 7. Not a bad looking ride, I will say. The only thing is, he does not have his number on there. Can we please get some spray paint down there and put a 7 on that thing? Side by side down in the corners here. Now it is Nick Kern with the run and the advantage on the bottom lane. Earlier we saw Hoffert struggling to get some grip down there, but it appears now the 5 is struggling to get back at it here, trying to get back down in the corner zone. Maybe looking to take Kern for a little bit of a run here. I mean, at this point, honestly, how close and tight it is, I'd be thinking about just trying to put my front bumper into that rear bumper right about now if I was any of these guys or gals. It's all clean racing, but it's all good racing too if it's a short track. But again, as long as you ain't literally send them off the cliff or off the distance and just give them a little tap in the back, I don't think there's anything wrong with a little running off from there. But it looks like Kern might be hearing this a little too much and me thinking, okay, well, if that's the case, I'll just run away from everybody and get ahead of this one. He's getting ahead of the distance, getting ahead of the field here with only 2 laps remaining in heat number 2, which then will send us off to our A main event of the evening. 2 laps to go here, and it is Chantel throttle bottle still trying to hang in there. May have used up a little too much trying to run that middle ground kind of up there where we saw what the rattlesnake kind of playing up at. Car does not seem to be doing too well there as Kern will take the white flag this time by for heat number 2. Ron Man's trying to hard off, trying to get something going here if at all possible. Coming off a corner 3 and 4, and it is Nick Kern. Make him feel the burn. He wins it in this one. Strong showing there from him and his crew. Great race all the way to the end. We'll take it down for a little warm-up, and then it's off to our A main event of the evening. Take a look at our Heat 2 results. Presented in part by Pushing Limits Racing League. Here is the results now on your screen. Kern with the win. Second to Chantel Pottle. Third to Ron Mans. So our field now heading out for a little one-on-one session, if you will. And looks like the warm-ups have now completed. So our drivers will now engage up for the A main event. And here's how we get here. On the pole, it'll be the 21. Your winner in heat number 1 in the rattlesnake, Robert Kahn, is outside. Nick Kern, Feel the Burn, winning heat 2, will be on the top spot with him in the second spot. Row number 2, it is Matthew Hoffert in the 84 to his outside. Chantel, the throttle Pottle in the 5. Row 3, Jeffrey Todd Tufts in 72 is outside. Ron Mans in the 7. Final starter, Stanley Pottle, the 48. Race fans, here we go. Time to kick this one up a notch, and it appears we're still not going to have Stanley Pottle able to join us. Unfortunately, looks like still mechanical failures down there for him and his crew. Drivers ready to fire him off here, get him down into the corners and into the distance. A main event coming your way now. 40 laps to the distance. And it's time to bring the haymakers. It's time to bring out the FWD TDI now on PTM Racing TV. Mark another one off the list here, folks. We've got another car and series out on the track, and it's time to see what they can do with them. Normally road course cars, forget about that. We're putting them on the ovals. Here we go. The green flag charging ahead here, and the rattlesnake, Robert Kahn, kind of caved in on by the 69 of Nick Kern. Kern actually getting a great run on the outside, but Kahn firing back on the bottom lane, making a good run around there. Nearly contact made in through the corners. These things are just so tough to handle, and they're extremely tight on a track like this. South Boston is no joke. I've only had a couple races here myself, and I've actually been able to get one victory with the light models here. And I'll tell you one thing, it was not easy to do. This was not an easy track to pass on. This is not an easy track to get an opening from. So whenever you get an opening, you don't hesitate. As you see, Hoffert gets a big opening on the inside. A little bit of a big opening, big runoff here, trying to make something work, trying to make it do good as the 5 Chantel Bottle engaging right in between. Trying to hammer down and get a little revenge on the boys here from earlier in heat number 2 as our field continues to stretch them on down. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the outside has been very favorable for guys like the Rattlesnake Rubber Con and even the 5 Chantel Bottle even proving there's something up there. Because again, generally it's only the bottom lane that works well in these kind of manners and this kind of stance. It's kind of crazy to think. Look at Ron Manzo. We got damage on that right front. It doesn't seem to be slowing him down. It's like, I don't care. So that's the old short track racing mentality. I love it. Just put on the fight and put on a show and give her all she's got. And let's see where this one goes. And Jeffrey Todd Tuff's doing a great job fending Ron Manzo off, not letting him come on by there. As you see Nick Phil, the Burn Kern, the race leader by a good margin of error here. I'm thinking he may have had a little bit of practice with these things here, to say the least. He was pretty fast in practice, and I'm kind of surprised that from the practice session up into this heats, he's been so smart and very controlled on the track. Hasn't really had too much of an issue or any problems, really giving some momentum. I always still got quite a few tracks and cars on the list here we still need to knock off and make sure we get shown on PTM Racing TV. But it is kind of nice just to get these ones out of the way because honestly, I've raced them before. And believe it or not, I ran them on dirt before I ever ran them on asphalt. And they are not easy to control anywhere I go. They just don't have any speed to them on dirt. So you really can't even do anything with them. But the good news is on asphalt, they were pretty fun to kind of mess around with on a road course setting. You just had to make sure you knew that they were front-wheel drive style. They were going to give you a headache here. And I really don't believe us, and you think we're kind of kidding you. I mean, you can look on the inside here. This pretty much looks like your normal day-to-day car driver, man. You can pretty much almost put these things out and just run them around the track here a little bit, and there you go. Look at the way Matthew Hoffert's kind of coming around the corners, too. It looks like he's almost actually throttling in at full force. And the cars just aren't giving a whole lot of give to him. So that could mean that this really might be a bit of a hesitant kind of track to really burn off anybody, really get a good runoff on some folks. I think really these cars are more designed for cornering and more course, obviously that road course mentality, but I mean, hey, if they can run on a road course, you can run them on an oval. We know that all too well. And for a short track race, it hasn't been too bad to say the least here. Ron Mans, Todd Tuff still doing a pretty good job here, battling out in the back of the pack here, trying to make something work here. Todd trying to defend Ron off. Ron trying to get back on his inside corner. Todd probably saying it, Ron, like, hey man, I don't even know what number you are. The only reason I can tell who you are is because you're the only white car out on the track. And Ron, to that extent, says, yep, I'm the only one that has the color scheme, and I'm the only one that's going to pass you up on this track. Coming down through 3 into 4, looking for the inside corner, getting a good run off here on old Tuffs. Todd trying to block him down, back him back out around. No, Ron Mans gets the nice, clean corner cut pass and makes a huge jump. But look at Todd back to the inside, crossover, now entering in turn 3. Ron has to drive up a little high here. Todd backing down quickly, trying to get back on the throttle. Can't quite get around him there as the drivers up ahead continue to just try to find a line, trying to find an angle to pass each other from. Not easy to do, but right in the back here, these drivers putting on a bit of a fight, putting on a little bit of a show here. And now it's time for Matthew Hoffer to try to put on a little show for him and the crew as he puts right up here with 22 laps remaining this next time by. Hoffer looking for a runoff on the inside, trying to make it stick, trying to make it work. The 5 Chantel Bottle just waiting in the wings for one of them to mess up. We've known her all too well with how she likes to hammer down on these cars, likes to hammer down on a front-wheel drive race car. Will she get that opportunity? Will she get that chance here? There's so many ways to combat this and kind of come off around the track. Certainly has a lot of work still to be had, still a lot of troublesome areas to kind of work out, but nevertheless seems to have a great fit and great control of the car, and the 69 of Nick Kern proving that he can really kind of just adjust himself to anything out here. He's won on dirt, he's won on a road course, won on an oval. Well, if he didn't win on an oval, he's going to win this one. He's won on the dirt tracks, obviously, and the dirt roads. I know that all too well. I've had to try to beat him out, and he's just way too tough on those. Getting on board camera here. Just look at the focus arrow on the 5. She's not even really thinking about anything other than just making sure she turns into every single corner, every single spot. Keeping a close eye on these turns and these corners here. You can see that Hans device right behind her. Actually, good look at that piece of equipment being used to good use. Of course, these drivers are going to be kind of pushed around a little bit. They have to get something to kind of hold them in place and hold them from getting hurt. And that's exactly what we're getting right now, with only about 18 laps remaining now, down into the 17 laps to go. Next week, season championship on the line as we will head to my homeland, my home track, Iowa Speedway. And we're bringing the ARCA series back to town, so you just know you better not be trying to overdrive those things. ARCA is back up next here on PTM Racing TV next week. Cannot wait to see that, and especially good to see my home track, Iowa Speedway, back out. I'm sorry if I'm a little biased for saying that, but come on, guys, who isn't? The Rattlesnake Robert Kahn right now trying to hang in there with the 5 Chantel bottles. We go on board. We are with him. He had a great heat in heat number 1 with Hoffert, but unfortunately, a few too many costly mistakes changed up the landscape and the plan here for him to move around this track and to move around this field. Hoffert trying to get a runoff here on Nick Kern, trying to see if maybe there's something he can give to him. Kahn getting ever so close here on that 5, maybe looking for an opening, a little bit of a nudge or a little bump up. They've been so clean though here, man. I'm really surprised. I would have thought they probably would have tried to put the bumper to these guys already. They would have tried to move them up a little bit. I'm amazed. They're running extremely clean, doing a great job hanging everything in place. But you know, there's only a couple laps remaining. How long does that last for? Because we know it's a snowball derby. That didn't last very long. Get on those last couple laps, you might as well just consider your chances ever so gone if you're not careful. Pulling up here with only 12 remaining. And now look at the rattlesnake, Robert Kahn. Oh, I think he might be listening in a little bit. He's like, I gotta get a little closer here. Maybe try to think about pushing up a little. No, backs off. Oh, but he gets the bumper. You heard that little clink and the clack. The 21 gets a piece of the 5's rear end, but it did not phase her. Smart thinking by the 5 to back off and really keep that car under control. She managed to hold it down and just pretty much steer into it. Even with that love tap, it still did not phase or move the car at all. So impressive. Very good work there. But that is the 69 and the 84 that will try to still challenge for the race win. Kern has led this race for pretty much a good majority of this one, to be honest with you. Nearly 7/8 of this race belong to him, but there's only one lap that matters, and that's the final lap. Everything else, well, you're pretty much just trying to make it set in stone. Speaking of set in stone, look out for the 21 now, moving up the corners into the run. Pushing it down from the bottom lane now, looking to make the 5 have to work from that middle edge. She is trying everything she can to hold it down, but the bottom lane is now finally becoming the strong line. Will she dive back in? Yes, she will. Crossover entering into turn number 3. Kahn's going to have to try to slick it up on the outside and try to get a runoff to block it like we saw earlier, but I don't think it's going to be enough time here. Doing everything he can, trying to hang on. Oh, it is getting close. It's getting compact up there. Kahn managing to push just far enough ahead. Can't quite get enough of him, though, for Chantel Bottle. And she'll move back into 4th. 6 laps remain. Final runoff coming here. Matthew Hoffer in the 84 right behind the 69 and Nick Kern. Kern trying to do everything he can to fade the 84's power in the run he brings and possesses on the track. 5 laps to go. And the final 5 can bring us either crazy moments or hard racing results. Look out for the Hoffer going to the inside. Can he dive it in deep enough and get Kern to slip up? He does! He got him to slip up just enough into the inside. Hoffer's giving it all she's got. Does he have enough? You can see that's about a half a car length here that Kern has on Hoffert. Hoffert's trying to hold on. He's going to have to rely on the corners to push him up even further and get the runoff on the bottom lane. He's got a good hold of it, got a good grip of it. 3 to go. Now, one more charge here down through turn number 2. Here it's starting to move the chains up just a slight bit. Kern knows he's in trouble. Khan looking for an opening as well. Big moment coming up here. 2 laps remain. White flag next time by here. We will see which one of these drivers can hold out and face for the other. This is a solid performance here from every single one of these drivers in this Push Limits Racing League race. And the VW Jetta TDI Cups have certainly proved their worth in many regards. White flag is out though. Which one's going to make the mistake and get the advantage here? They'll run them off one more time by. Gonna be a bit of a drag race here. Hoffer might have to dig it in a little bit deeper, a little harder off the corner. Can he get it to stick? Didn't quite get it to stick that time around. And Kern's gonna get it by just a tire length to the finish. Oh, what a race. A solid finish. And a big win for the 69 of Nick Kern. And I do not think he's going to get any burnouts or any donuts done on this thing, so I think he's just gonna go with the flow and go with it. Man, what a race and what a wild one, man. That was a lot of fun, Doder Call. A little short and sweet, but hey, at the end of the day, it don't matter as long as the racing was good. I'll ask you fans at home if you think that racing was good. You leave your comments down below. Let's take a look at our results here, though. Nick Kern, solid victory. Second to Matthew Hoffert. Third to Robert Kahn. Fourth to Chantel Bottle. Fifth to Ron Mann. Sixth to Jeffrey Todd Tubbs. And then Stanley Bottle finishing seventh. And it looks like Kern actually found a way to drift one of these things. Well, I'm glad he figured it out, but that doesn't mean nothing. Alright, race fans, we'll try and see if we can talk with the top 3 here. We'll give them the countdown meter. Remember, we still have another race coming up here. So don't think for 1 second we're just going to let them be the only guys to talk with tonight. They have only a couple minutes here to get through here. That was still something there, folks. That's just wild racing. Alright, well, we got one of our drivers coming on board now, so let's listen in with him. Your second place finisher here tonight, Mr. Matthew Hoffert. And Hoffert, certainly a wild one to say the least, but you had a little bit of work to do on those final corners. Kern just barely eked you out, though. What was the key to victory here for you?
Well, definitely a different style. Definitely a different car, something new. I just got that opening on the bottom, but he got me by about a bumper or a fender, so he barely got me. But I mean, that was a fun race.
Well, it's a fun race, a lot of fun to call and really watch and witness from here on out. But nevertheless, man, you gave it everything you had and tried to put up a little bit of a run to the very end. Is there anything you could have done differently to try to pass him in or beat him out?
I think if I would have maybe tried to go for it a little earlier, maybe about 10, 15 to go, and tried to make that run, I may have had a little bit of a better chance. But yeah, tried it with 5 to go and made it very interesting, very fun to watch, and hope everyone enjoyed it.
For sure there. I think they definitely did enjoy quite a bit of it and then some. So, Hoffert, as we sign off here with Pushing Limits, is there anybody you want to thank here for the second place finish?
Oh, everyone at Pushing Limits Racing League that come out tonight and raced, PTM Racing TV for the broadcasting, and friends and family watching at home, thank you, and see you next week.
See you next week indeed. Hoffert, congratulations, sir. Great to have you back on board.
Thank you.
Hoffert with the second place finish here tonight. Nick Kern walking away with the W. A big victory for him and his crew. Solid race, solid performance all the way around. And your third place finisher being Mr. Rattlesnake himself, Robert Kahn, managing just to push the 5 Chantel Pottle just barely out of the way here and get himself a victory. What a night, what a performance here, to say the least, here on PTM Racing TV. All around pretty great racing. But from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, we're not done yet. Give us about a half hour and we will tune back in with you as we will see Green Mountain Grill's Fast and Fun Truck Series down at Watkins Glen. Stay tuned for more action. Thank you again for tuning in here with this race.